Hello everyone, this is Teddy Keckstead from Forex Trading Unlocked, and we are here on April 1st, 2020, the first day of the new quarter and the middle of the trading week. So before we get into everything, let's just pull up our disclaimer real quick to remind everybody that this webinar is for illustrative purposes and educational purposes only. We have a couple buy and sell signals going off in the currency markets today, and we're looking forward to seeing how these things manifest. And if you want to learn how to trade these signals, read the book High Probable Japanese Candlestick Patterns, available on Amazon.com in Kindle and paperback version. Through it, you can utilize the best buy and sell patterns used for over 400 years to give yourself a competitive edge against the markets. And now let's check out what these buy and sell patterns are. So we have the www.forex-trading-unlocked.com workstation page pulled up. Let's see, we already have our Euro US dollar, which definitely is pounding new lows as we speak right now. So we have currently we have a couple positions on. We are long the U.S. dollar Swiss, and we are short the Euro U.S. dollar. We have no other currency crosses positions on in the FX market. We have no futures positions on right now, but we do have some binary options positions on. We are long the U.S. dollar Canada strike at $1.43 quarter. We are long the U.S. dollar Swiss at 96.25. That currently is in the money because the market's at 96.86. Remember that these are binary strikes, so if the market is above them, then we are long. That means that we are a winner, and if the market is below where we are, or these strikes are, they are losers. Like currently the Canada is pretty much almost break even, but the US dollar, Japanese yen, we have two strikes at 108.75 and 109.75, which definitely look like they're just falling apart right now. So we're going to take a look at those right now. So the Euro US dollar, we are short right now this market. You can see the trend line is pretty steep here. We have confirmed a lower move high, and now the market is testing support. So the question is, if we can find some support here soon and then turn around and make a run above $1.1153, that would confirm a bullish market, or at least a neutral to higher market. All trading below this here, and especially with the underneath this descending to downward sloping resistance line for the trend, that keeps this market very bearish. So especially since we have a buy signal in the US dollar Swiss. So right now we're looking at dollar strength and euro weakness as far as the European currencies are concerned, and something that can help to push this trade along is the US dollar Swiss. We have a buy signal that went off yesterday, confirming that this market had made a higher move low, and then, or excuse me, a higher move high and then a higher move low. So this is confirming that US dollar strength is remaining right now. At least obviously you can see yesterday the buy signal was triggered. Today the market is pushing through resistance as we speak, and it has poked than yesterday's high. We have a target zone is very close to reach now. We're almost there, from 96.97 up to 97.44. So you might start to see some resistance once we get into this area, if the bulls can get this press on over the next few hours or into tomorrow's session or so, or into the end of the week. Only a failure from, we'll put right here, from the session low from 2 days ago. Only below here does this market get bearish. And right now, because of this buy signal, we have it at least pressing into the zone. We're almost there. So we'll be raising our stop to break even once we get it in through today's trade, just because we don't know for sure if this is the beginning of a major bull move that's going to try and break out to the upside and challenge the highs that we had a few weeks ago, or is it going to fall apart and then, find dollar weakness and Swiss strength. But right now it looks like the dollar is getting a bit of a bounce, and I think that it'll be strong going into the rest of today as well as into probably the rest of the week. Doesn't mean that the dollar bulls are back for the long term. We could be getting ready for a big wide range trade. So we may be just establishing the upper part of a range, and then think about it. With the volatility that we've had, we could easily go sideways. I mean, look at how this market has traded for months on end within a dollar and a half range. We've had, look at the width of this right now that we're looking here. We have a low here at 95.04, and we have a high just above 90, just below, or right at 99. So that's almost a $5 range right there, and that's only in the period of a week and a half versus months over there for just a $1.50 range. So that being said, We'll be chasing this right now. We're long. We're going to ride this one up, and as I said, it's definitely helping for our binary option position as well as in our outright forex market position. So now let's take a look at the British pound, U.S. dollar, since we can see that the number one component in the dollar index, the euro, is weakening. The pound. See, this is where I'm thinking that we could possibly start settling into a sideways trade. The coronavirus is definitely still raging on in Europe. The numbers in Europe are absolutely crazy. In fact, since we're talking about it, we'll pull it up right now. Worldwide, obviously, the United States is number one. Italy and Spain are now number two and number three with death totals that are just astronomical. China is now behind Spain, but Germany's coming right up behind China, and so is France. These numbers are horrible. With that being said, I think the UK as well, I'm sorry, let's pull that back. The UK has been climbing too. They've gone up over 10,000 cases just in the past 2 days. So, and their numbers are just not looking too good. So I think that the British pound right now is kind of struggle, but it's had such volatility, and with the dollar, I mean, all these currencies are now ready to start to find some sort of equilibrium because the shock wave has gone through. But then there's the long-term repercussions, like how bad is this going to be? So if these numbers keep on escalating, then I think you're going to still see dollar strength prevail. It's just going to be a volatile trade. So we don't have a signal in the pound U.S. dollar, so we're not going to tag this along with our U.S. dollar Swiss trade, which is the opposite for the euro U.S. dollar. Those are fueling each other. As you can see, in fact, we can pull up just so you can see it here. Here's our euro US dollar. You can see where we're short. See how it's making new lows right now. Here's the US dollar Swiss. It's making new highs. So these are inverted, but you're basically, no matter what, you're long the dollar and short those European currencies. However, when we go to the British pound US dollar, you can see that it's very tight, this trade. I mean, the ranges that we've had the past three sessions compared to what we've had over the past month this is nothing. So this is winding its coil. I'd be very cautious here. Directionally, bears or bulls, take a shot. The risk you're going to have to put on for either trade is very extreme, and I can't imagine what your reward is right now because you're sitting right in the middle of this big range. So let's wait for a signal there, folks. Now let's go to the US dollar, Japanese yen. See what's going on in the Asian markets. This is one where the U.S. dollar is not finding strength. Obviously, our positions are going the wrong way for our binary options. However, if we can get a rally that gets above this 108.75 area, then we probably will have a good chance at least of challenging this downward sloping resistance line. Remember, this market has been an overall bull, but actually now I guess you could say it's in a big sideways over the past 6 months, basically. So, except for this big extreme waves that we've had here over the past month and a half. So we may be starting to settle into a sideways trade here. Remember, this thing before this big hiccup, look at how it traded here between 107 and 110 for months. So we could be just establishing the lower part of the range now and go chop suey here, which I guess that would be Chinese, not Japanese. So, but you understand what I'm saying, that we're looking for some choppy markets. Range traders are probably going to have a field day with this one, I would say, for the next few sessions, unless there's a major bullish wave or bearish slide that comes back. It's tough to see. I think that this is kind of going the way of the pound. You can only press so far with some of your major currencies, especially because they're not like the Mexican peso or the Turkish lira, and we'll get into that as we get to those markets. So where we have definitive movement going on, trend going on in the the two of the European currencies versus the dollar, as we come into Asia, I think we're starting to see the pound and the yen they're going into a consolidation mode, trying to absorb all the volatility. Now let's look at the Australian dollar, US dollar, where this market here is, quiet trade, quiet range. It's coming off the highs from yesterday. Yesterday posted a higher move high with a lower session, same as today. We don't really have much to go on here. This one, is it getting sideways? Well, I think this one is more of a bear. It's going to remain in a bearish tone until it really proves itself otherwise. But to kind of help you get an idea of whether or not this Australian dollar, US dollar may start to fall in support or resistance, here's what we have here. Aggressive bears anything above the high from yesterday. That has us off to any type of bearish campaign. It makes us definitely looking for a challenge of resistance. But how strong of a bull is this? We don't see very much strength here, even if there's dollar weakness across the globe. What we do have is a tandem trade to go along with this. The New Zealand dollar, US dollar, which has been trading pretty much the same as the Australian dollar, US dollar, did give us a short-term sell signal yesterday. It's a 3 inside down sell signal. Once again, if you read that book, High Probable Japanese Candlestick Patterns, Available on Amazon.com. You can learn how to trade these patterns. Right now, we have a downside target zone of 57.72 down to the 57 even area. So there's still quite a little bit of a move left for the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. So that also means that, we have the high from a few sessions back. We're going to use that as our risk. Anything below here targets this area. So this may help to put pressure on the Australian dollar, US dollar trade. These are both markets that have been, like I said, trading kind of in tandem. I think the Aussie has more problems than the New Zealand dollar does, so maybe this is giving us a little bit of a front runner signal as to what's going on. Now let's go to the US dollar TRY and see what's going on with the Turkish lira. Now, because of what's going on in Iran, and remember I pulled up the coronavirus thing, Iran now is here. Let's see, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Iran is now number 7th for the coronavirus outbreak, pandemic, which is going on right now. As long as that is going on in that area of the world, and especially because of its closeness to the Middle East and between China and India and all these basically along the Silk Road, we believe that, and we've been talking about this for months, that this market is going to most likely be a bull. It's a very volatile trade. You can see we finally got a correction, very similar to this one and this one. As you can see, they last no more than like 3 to 5 days, and then like a balloon underwater, we're challenging new highs. I'm not saying to buy into these highs. It's a very, very wide market. You have to have deep pockets and know what you're doing. If you didn't buy the dip, and this is what I would be looking for, is to buy dips in this trade right now. But as you can see, this is accelerating. When you start to see the dollar really explode against these lesser currency crosses, it's going to have an impact on the major currency crosses as well. So right now we're seeing that no matter what, the world as a whole, maybe not so much in some of your major countries like the UK and whatever, they're holding their strength, but the other currencies are starting to fall to the dollar. This is great from a buying aspect of America, especially as we do come out of this thing eventually, as time will tell when that is. However, it really sets up these other currencies where they definitely can't buy our products. So our exports are going to be horrible. So we're going to have to be very careful in America choosing our buying, because we may be able to steal products from across the world, but we're going to not want our own. Who knows what's going to go on. We need something to figure out how that balances out. Hopefully the currencies will snap back sooner than later, and we're not going to stay at these levels, because we are starting to push an area where long-term trade will be affected at these levels, especially if this trend continues to go on for another couple months. I mean, as you can see, this market's been trending higher we're going back into August, and it just was, grinding around, and it was chopping around, but slowly every dip seems to be, especially since we started this year, has been a break to buy. And I think until we have a flattening of the coronavirus curve across the globe, we're not going to see that change. Here's another currency where you have to be very careful, where it's bouncing back. We have the US dollar Mexican peso. Look at this volatility that it's had just in the past week and a half. We have the upside breakout point at 25.44 pesos, and we have the downside at 22.82 pesos to the dollar. Right now we're in the middle of this range. If this starts to chop around and go sideways, that would be a very good sign. We do know that in Mexico, the numbers have started to grow. Hopefully things will subside and flatten there very quickly, but this doesn't bode well for them. But the question is, maybe we've overextended this range. And if this is the case, a currency like this, especially as we stabilize and flatten the curve in the US and also in Canada, this may help to keep this consolidating trading action going on, where we may not start to see so much of a swing trade up and down for higher move highs, let alone a break below this area either. We might start to see just a real choppy trade develop here, kind of like what's going on with the pound and stuff. Only because I think that we may be overdone, but who knows? Maybe we get another breakout. If we get above 25 pesos, 25.44 here, we'll be nibbling at 26, upwards of 27 pesos to the dollar in no time probably. Now let's look at the US dollar Canada. Talk about a grind. This thing has been chopping around the past few days, and now it's back up on trying to pressure resistance again. And these bulls are having trouble every time the bulls try and get a move going on. The bears just slam it. It's a tough trade. People have got to be getting chopped up in this one. So I would say if you're taking a stance, if you're bullish, you got a wide risk now, because it's just too easy for this market to chop around. You're probably better off with the options than you are with the outright Forex products or the futures. I would say option plays might be the best way to be trading this one. It doesn't look this volatile, but look at it just in the past week and a half, $1.4670 high and a $1.39 low. That's just insane for the Canada. I mean, if this is starting to become a consolidation area, boy, there's going to be a lot of people getting chopped up in this one. So I would look to trade the extremes, either look to buy dips, or if you're stepping out now, just be cautious, because if we fail from here, $1.39, it could just grind lower. We do have this gap to fill. But then also, if you try and short this thing, looking for this, be careful, because we could be back up these highs in no time. If the U.S. dollar bull really is prevailing, like it seems to be against many of our currencies, then it's probably going to be harder for this market to establish newer move lows, especially because you have to look at it. We came off the high, we made a newer move, higher move low, lower move high, lower move low, lower move high. Now we've made a higher move low. So the question is are we neutralizing, or are we getting ready for a bullish breakout? I'm leaning towards the side of the bulls. So let's go back to our euro US dollar and see where that is trading right now. You can see that as we've been talking through this webinar, that it's pretty much right around where it was. It's trading right around the low of yesterday. This is a very negative sign. And remember, what we have that gives us our guide for where the dollar is going is the US dollar Swiss. Remember that the Swiss and the yen are two flight to quality currencies, just like the dollar is. And right now the dollar seems to be having strength over the Swiss, and especially with what we looked at. And also, here's another thing, is to look at just how we mentioned where Iran was. Switzerland is now 2 countries behind Iran for worst hit in the world. So this is not good. Things don't bode well for Europe as far as their costs and slowing down their economy and things like that. So I think that the Swiss overall, like if you look at, we have the euro Swiss, and as you can see, this one, the euro versus the Swiss has just been tanking and tanking and tanking and tanking for this, and it still is looking weak. So you can see that there is true weakness in the European currencies. And then US dollar Swiss, however, the dollar is the strength right now. We've been beaten up over the past week and a half. Now we have this buy signal. Let's see where it goes. If it's going to run out of gas and dollar weakness is going to prevail, then we'll see that manifest over the next couple sessions. So we have the buy signal in the US dollar Swiss. We have the sell signal in the US dollar, or excuse me, the New Zealand dollar US dollar. So once one little rehash of the targets. Our entry was the close from yesterday. We obviously got in a little bit higher than that. We were out. We didn't see we're around for the close yesterday. So right now we're targeting this 96.97 up to 97.44. Could it go higher? Absolutely. But once we hit our target, that's where it's time to take our profits. So, and we'll be getting out of our binary option trades there and starting to, ride the other one and adjust it from there. Then we also have, remember, we have the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. So this was a 3 inside up buy signal, Japanese candlestick pattern. We have the 3 inside down sell signal in the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Now this one has a little bit more room for it. So if you're looking for a little more bang for your buck, this one's targeting 57.72 down to 57 even, and the market's trading at 59.33 right now with a risk of only 60.74, because your risk would be the high from a few sessions ago. So your reward to risk ratio on this trade actually looks a lot better than the Swiss US dollar. So if you're not in that one, which I would say, remember, don't try and chase our trades. If you're not part of a signal service and trigger it when you get them, you do not want to try and follow them, but you just want to see how we manage them. You can see they're not all winners, but when they are, they're good. So we're doing good so far in the first quarter in this year, so we'll see how things keep on going. We do have this trade right here, New Zealand dollar, US dollar. We'll see how this one manifests. Like I said, this is the one that offers the most bang for the buck. So with that being said, if you want to find out how to trade these patterns, remember, you can read the book, High Probable Japanese Candlestick Patterns, available on Amazon.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Forex Trading Unlocked, and always check us out at www.forex-trading-unlocked.com. And you can always find out our analysis too, like just how we have going on right here. We're going to pull up our website real quick, just so you can see how to find our daily analysis. So right here, market analysis and education. You can see where we're using the workstation page, but if you just want to check out our videos, you just go to the market analysis page, and then you can see our previous YouTube, or our most recent video on YouTube, and you can also see when we're streaming live. Like right now, this is putting this going right now. We're just loading up the page, so it's running a little slow. You can also see our latest TFNN interview and things like that. This is a good place just to carouse and just take on the analysis without trying to do it yourself. And then if you want to know the numbers for sure, you just go to the workstation page and you can see the different numbers that are coming out for each different currency. As you can see here, we have the bigger version. In fact, let's go down a little size here. And then you can see the charts with the news and blah, 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 just like we have on the ones that we've been working with here. So thank you very much for your time. Please be mindful of what's going on in the markets. Remember our 2 buy and sell signals. Good luck. If you're already on in those trades already and trading in that direction, then you can see how we're helping to confirm your side with that. And I don't know how you manage your risk or not. Now you can see where we're at. And if you want to really know how to manage the trades, just read the book, High Probable Japanese Candlestick Patterns. Thank you very much for joining us here at Forex-Trading-Unlocked.com, and we will see you soon.